Dear friend, trading success does not come from magical indicators or guessing tomorrow's price action. It is built on rituals that sharpen the mind. Great traders aren't born. They are forged through daily habits that create discipline, patience, and clarity. Imagine the difference. A beginner wakes up, grabs his phone, and instantly dives into the chaos of news, social media, and flashing stock alerts. His emotions get hijacked before the day even begins. In contrast, a professional trader treats the morning like sacred ground. He sets his mental tone before he sets his trades. Breathing exercises, journaling, reviewing risk plans, and affirming discipline. These are not extras, they are the foundation. Mark Douglas once said, "The consistency you seek is in your mind, not in the market." That truth separates those who gamble from those who grow. The ritual is not about predicting. It's about preparing. Dear friend, start building the trader's mindset today, because if you win the morning, you win the market. Think about it. How do most beginners start their trading day? They wake up, grab a cup of coffee, and immediately scroll through Twitter or Reddit for hot picks. Their minds get clouded with opinions, fears, and hype. Within minutes they are reacting, not thinking. This is the seed of overtrading, chasing candles and emotional decisions. A professional trader, however, does the opposite. He knows that clarity comes from silence, not noise. Instead of rushing to the charts, he first centers himself. He reviews yesterday's journal entries, what went right, what went wrong, what emotional traps appeared. He builds awareness before he builds positions. Alexander Elder famously wrote, "The goal of a successful trader is to make the best trades. Money is secondary." The morning ritual is where this wisdom lives. The pro does not chase profit, he chases process. By protecting the first hour of the day from chaos, he protects his edge. Now let's take a closer look at mindset journaling. A ritual that almost every professional trader swears by. Beginners often skip it because it feels boring, but it is one of the most powerful tools in trading psychology. Think of an athlete. They don't just practice on the field, they analyze their performance, note their mistakes, and track their growth. Trading is no different. A beginner without journaling repeats the same mistakes again and again: impulsive entries, oversized positions, emotional exits. A professional, however, documents everything. The setup, the reasoning, the emotions, Over weeks and months, patterns appear, emotional weaknesses, times of day where mistakes happen, setups that consistently succeed. Ray Dalio captured it best. Pain plus reflection equals progress. Journaling is reflection. It turns losses into lessons and fear into fuel. Without it, a trader is blind. With it, he sees the map of his own mind. The other key morning ritual is visualization. While beginners stare at screens hoping for green candles, professionals close their eyes and rehearse scenarios in their mind. They imagine different outcomes. What if the trade goes wrong? What if the setup fails? How will they react? This mental rehearsal reduces shock, builds discipline, and sharpens execution. It's the same technique Olympic athletes use before stepping into competition. When fear strikes, the pro is ready, because he has already lived that moment in his mind. In contrast, the beginner is surprised every time, panicking at red candles and celebrating green ones like a gambler. Tudor Jones once said, "Don't focus on making money. Focus on protecting what you have." Visualization helps traders protect themselves emotionally by pre-living the stress, so the real moment feels calm. This is why professional traders seem unshaken. The battle was fought in their minds before it ever reached the charts. Finally, let's talk about the single ritual that binds them all together: reflection before action. A beginner thinks action is everything. The more I trade, the more I'll win. But professionals know the opposite. Restraint is power. They pause, they reflect, they remind themselves that missing a trade is better than forcing one. This simple habit prevents emotional burn. Warren Buffett famously advised, "The stock market is designed to transfer money from the active to the patient." Patience is not passive. It is the most aggressive form of discipline. Professional traders internalize this lesson every morning, reminding themselves that today is about process, not speed. Dear friend, start building the trader's mindset today. Subscribe to the Trader Mindset channel and make patience your weapon. One of the most overlooked habits of professional traders is the ritual of physical preparation. Beginners think trading is purely mental. They sit for endless hours at the screen, consuming caffeine, forgetting to move, and allowing their bodies to become tense. What they don't realize is that the body is the foundation of the mind. A stressed, tired, or sluggish body cannot support sharp decisions. Professionals know this, which is why they treat their bodies like high-performance machines. Many start their day with light exercise, stretching, or even a morning run before opening their charts. Why? Because physical movement lowers cortisol, increases blood flow to the brain, and creates a state of calm focus. Think about it. How many times have you made an impulsive trade just because you felt restless, bored, or physically uncomfortable? The truth is, the body whispers before the mind screams. George Soros once admitted, "I'm only rich because I know when I'm wrong." That awareness often begins with how you physically feel. A stiff neck, a racing heartbeat, sweaty palms. These are signals, not distractions. Pro traders train themselves to listen to those signals and correct them with rituals that keep their bodies balanced. This is why when you see a professional, they look calm even in chaos. Their body is aligned with their trading mind. The Buddha ritual that separates beginners from professionals is goal setting, with brutal honesty. A beginner often sets vague goals like "I want to make $100 today," or "I hope to double my account this month." These goals are emotional, unrealistic, and dangerous, because they anchor success to outcomes beyond one's control. Professionals know better. They set process-driven goals. "I will only take trades that meet my criteria," or "I will stop trading after 2 losses," or "I will execute my risk plan perfectly today." Notice how none of these goals depend on the market. They depend only on the trader's discipline. This subtle shift changes everything. Beginners often spiral into frustration because they chase numbers. Professionals grow consistently because they chase behavior. Ray Dalio captured this mindset perfectly. If you don't look back on yourself and think, "Wow, how stupid I was a year ago," then you must not have learned much. Goal-setting rituals allow pros to measure progress, not in profits, but in wisdom. Over time, money follows discipline, but never the other way around. The professional trader writes down his goals daily, reviews them, and holds himself accountable. This honesty builds trust with himself first, and with his capital second. Morning rituals also include reviewing risk boundaries, something beginners often ignore until it's too late. Think about it. Most new traders don't even know their maximum risk per trade, let alone their maximum daily drawdown. They trade like gamblers, raising their position size when they feel lucky, shrinking it when they feel scared, and blowing up accounts when emotions spiral out of control. Professionals are different. They review their risk plan daily before entering the market. They know exactly how much they are willing to lose today, before the day even starts. This gives them freedom, not restriction. It's the paradox of trading. By limiting risk, you expand potential. Imagine a pilot who checks every system before takeoff. It doesn't slow him down, it makes him safe. In the same way, pros view risk rituals as their pre-flight check. Warren Buffett once said, "Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing." That's why professionals make risk awareness their compass. A beginner sees risk as fear. A professional sees it as structure. Without this daily ritual, fear rules. With it, discipline rules. The moment reality hits, a sudden loss, a surprise news event, they panic, overreact, or freeze. Professionals, however, mentally rehearse worst-case scenarios every morning. They ask, "What if my first trade is a loser? What if the market is volatile? How will I respond?" By walking through these possibilities, they build resilience before they need it. This doesn't make them pessimistic, it makes them unshakable. Think of an elite soldier. He trains for every possible ambush, so that in battle nothing surprises him. Alexander Elder once said, "The market does not know you exist. You can do nothing to influence it. You can only control yourself." Emotional rehearsal teaches professionals to control themselves, no matter what the market throws at them. It transforms fear into familiarity. So when the storm hits, they aren't caught off guard. They've already lived that storm in their minds. Finally, professionals end their morning ritual with intentional stillness before execution. This may sound strange in a world that glorifies speed, but in trading, slowness is a superpower. Beginners rush chasing every tick, forcing trades just to feel active. Professionals, they sit in silence, breathe deeply, and remind themselves of one truth. They don't need to trade, they need to wait for their trade. This moment of stillness is what allows them to separate noise from opportunity. It is what keeps them patient when the market tempts them into chaos. Tudor Jones captured this essence when he said, "The most important rule of trading is to play great defense, not great offense." That defense starts with patience. By practicing stillness, professionals remind themselves that restraint is not weakness, it is mastery. And this is where you, dear friend, must begin too. Start building the trader's mindset today. Subscribe to the Trader Mindset channel and learn the rituals that transform noise into clarity, chaos into calm, and traders into profession. When traders talk about mastery, they often imagine complex algorithms, insider knowledge, or secret strategies. But if you study the world's greatest traders, you'll find that mastery often begins with something much simpler: the ritual of reflection at the end of every trading session. Beginners usually skip this step. They close their laptops after a win, feeling euphoric, or after a loss, feeling angry and defeated. They walk away without learning anything, only to repeat the same emotional cycle the next day. Professionals, however, understand that the true growth of a trader is hidden in those quiet post-market minutes. They sit down not to trade, but to think. They ask, what emotions drove me today? Did I follow my plan or betray it? Did I exit too early out of fear? Did I size up too much out of greed? By writing and reflecting, they take ownership of their behavior. This habit builds self-awareness, the root of psychological strength. George Soros once explained, "I'm rich because I know when I'm wrong." Reflection is the practice of admitting wrongs quickly, analyzing them, and adjusting. Without this ritual, mistakes multiply. With it, mistakes become teachers. Over months and years, reflection compounds into wisdom. This is why professionals seem calm under pressure. They've already dissected those emotions hundreds of times. They no longer trade blindly, they trade with self-knowledge. Another ritual that professionals never compromise on is cultivating patience beyond the trade. Beginners often believe patience means sitting on their hands for a few minutes while waiting for an entry. But true patience, the kind that professionals live by, is much deeper. It is the ability to wait not just for minutes or hours, but for days, weeks, even months, until the market aligns with their strategy. Most new traders cannot tolerate inactivity. If the market is slow, they force trades out of boredom. If volatility is high, they jump in without a plan, driven by fear of missing out. The professional understands that waiting is a weapon. They often step away entirely, spending the day reading, studying, exercising, while others lose money forcing setups that don't exist. Warren Buffett summed it up perfectly. The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Think about that. Money literally flows from one mindset to another. The impatient bleed capital, the patient harvest. A pro trader's ritual is not just to watch charts, but to practice patience in life itself. They train themselves to delay gratification, to enjoy the process, and to trust the long game. This patience translates into trading decisions that look effortless to outsiders, but are born from hours, days, even years of waiting. Discipline is often romanticized as sheer willpower, but pros know it is about structure and environment. Beginners try to force discipline by promising themselves they won't overtrade, but when emotions flare, promises collapse. Professionals build discipline through daily rituals that design their environment for success. They automate good habits and eliminate temptation. For example, a beginner may keep multiple brokerage apps on his phone, checking them every hour, while a professional limits access to one trusted platform and sets clear trading windows. A beginner might trade from his bed or couch, blurring the line between work and leisure, while a pro sits in a clean, organized workspace, where the environment itself signals seriousness. Alexander Elder once wrote, "The markets are never wrong, opinions often." Discipline means aligning your actions with reality, not opinions. Professional traders create rituals that make discipline automatic. Alarms for breaks, reminders to stop after losses, preset order sizes, and strict routine. Instead of fighting their impulses every day, they reduce the situations that trigger them. This is why discipline appears effortless for pros. It isn't willpower, it's design. Their rituals transform discipline from a struggle into a natural part of their trading life. Confidence is another daily ritual that professionals consciously cultivate. Beginners often confuse confidence with arrogance. They feel unstoppable after a few wins, then crushed after a few losses. Their confidence rises and falls with every trade, leaving them emotionally unstable. Professionals, on the other hand, build unshakable confidence through routines that separate self-worth from outcomes. They remind themselves daily that a losing trade does not mean they are failures, just as a winning trade does not mean they are genius. They treat each result as data, not judgment. To maintain this mindset, many pros practice affirmations or visualization exercises before trading. They repeat principles like, I follow my plan, I manage risk, I cannot control the market, but I can control myself. This isn't fluffy self-help, it's neurological conditioning. By rehearsing confidence daily, they program their minds to remain steady through uncertainty. Tudor Jones once said, don't be a hero, don't have an ego, always question yourself and your ability. Confidence in trading isn't about being right every time, it's about trusting the process, even when you're wrong. That trust is built daily, one ritual at a time, until confidence becomes identity. And finally, dear friend, we arrive at the ritual that ties everything together, closing the day with gratitude and vision. Beginners end their sessions either frustrated or euphoric, depending on profit or loss. Professionals end with perspective. They take a few quiet minutes to appreciate the opportunity to trade, the lessons learned, and the growth achieved, regardless of outcome. Gratitude shifts the focus from scarcity to abundance. It reminds the trader that tomorrow always offers new chances. Alongside gratitude, pros practice vision. They don't just think about the next trade, they imagine the trader they are becoming. They visualize themselves a year, 5 years, even 10 years ahead, calm, disciplined, consistent. This vision fuels their patience and strengthens their resolve. As Dalio said, he who lives by the crystal ball will eat shattered glass. Vision isn't about prediction, it's about purpose. The pro's day ends not with fear or greed, but with clarity and confidence in the journey. Dear friend, this is your invitation. Start building the trader's mindset today. Subscribe to the Trader Mindset channel and commit to these rituals, not tomorrow, not someday, but today. Because mastery isn't a destination, it is a daily habit.